Right, record has started.
Welcome everybody to today's school district city subcommittee. One of the great working groups, I think, in all of Milpitas. We're just going to call this meeting to order here. We have everybody and we'll go ahead and go next to the flag salute. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, everybody. Great. We'll have a really great, efficient, timely meeting this Friday afternoon and get all the work done on the agenda. Happy to see folks here. It is a healthy agenda as we head into the fall season here. I will request for the agenda to be posted, or I can, maybe that'll help everybody literally get on the same page. I do have my agenda before me. I just want to make sure folks can see. I don't see.
Yeah, it's here.
The agenda.
Renee or Ellerin? I don't know which one of you is sharing your screen. It looks like Ellerin has, yeah. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. All right, moving on to public forum. Public forum is 1 minute. Public forum is 1 minute today. Looking around on the Zoom virtual attendees, I see none. Going, gone. That's public forum. Moving on here to the approval of the agenda. I'll move to approve the agenda. Needing a second.
I second.
Okay, we got a second from the vice mayor. All in favor? I guess it's digital. We got to vote one by one. School board member, vice president Yiptron.
Yes.
School board member president Chris Norwood.
Yes.
Vice mayor Montano.
Yes.
Myself as an aye. The agenda is approved. Moving on to the approval of minutes. Thank you for sending that as well. March, geez, it's good to be back together. So I'll move to approve the minutes and needing a second.
Second.
You have a second from the president, Chris Norwood. All in favor, we'll go one by one. Vice President Yiptron.
Yes.
President Norwood.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Montano.
Yes.
Myself is a yes. The minutes have been approved. Let's jump into F. Discussion items. We're gonna have a great meeting here. And number one, COVID-19 update.
Give me 1 sec, Mayor. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the presentation for that right now. All right. I'm assuming everyone can see the top slide.
Yes.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone, subcommittee. I'm going to hand this over to our Assistant City Manager, Ashwini Kantak, to kick us off, and then you'll be hearing from other staff and the school district staff as well.
Thank you, Renee. Good afternoon, members of the subcommittee. Ashwini Kantak, Assistant City Manager with the City of Milpitas. I'll start off with the COVID update, and then Renee is going to walk you through some of the services her staff provide, and then we have an update from the school district as well. So just briefly, the city has resumed in-person services since August. City Hall is open for walk-ins as well as appointments Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then we do have virtual appointments on Friday. So it's virtual City Hall on Friday. In terms of city employees, we are requiring them to be either fully vaccinated or conducting weekly COVID testing. Masks are required at all city facilities as well. And we are working with our labor groups and anticipate implementing a vaccine mandate soon. We have hybrid city council meetings. Again, we started those in August. Our first meeting on August 5th was a hybrid meeting, which allows in-person council in person as well as public in person and virtual. All other public meetings continue to be virtual. So all our commissions, task force meetings, etc., are held virtually, as is this subcommittee. And then we are continuing to provide several services, even though we are open in person. We know that it's convenient for folks to access our services virtually. So we're continuing most of the services we provided virtually through the pandemic. Those are continuing on. And then we had the outdoor dining program really to help our businesses when indoor dining was shut, and we quickly mobilized to help restaurants open up temporary outdoor dining facilities. Even though the public health order for indoor dining ended in June, we continued, we extended the program. It was very popular, and extended the program through September 30th. What we have done is we've asked restaurants that want to do this on a more permanent basis to apply for an extension. And then we are now working on kind of a longer term program. So those that want to go beyond September 30th, they can submit an application. It's no cost. It's not really a permit process, so they can continue to have outdoor dining. And then we'll work on the long-term program, and restaurants can apply for that. It'll be a nominal fee, and they can continue to kind of provide that as a service to patrons of those restaurants. And then we've had several discussions with our city council on the American Rescue Plan Act funding. And this is intended to help kind of cities, residents, businesses all recover from COVID. So we have an allocation of over 16.7 million coming directly to Milpitas. This is in addition to other funding that goes directly to residents and businesses through the $1.9 trillion package that was signed in March. And so again, council approved on August 5th, council approved a preliminary investment plan, and funds are allocated to provide services both to our residents and businesses. And with that, I'll hand it over to Renee Lawrenson to cover the next slide.
All right, thank you, Ashwini. So our Recreation Community Services staff and other service departments, we're proud to continue to host 10 plus testing sites for COVID-19 per month. We currently have testing 2 times a month at the Sports Center and 2 times weekly every Monday and Thursday at the Milpitas Community Center. Since late March, we've hosted 11 vaccination clinics and counting. We're currently working to set up more in partnership with Santa Clara County, as well as some staff-led vaccination clinics with local pharmacies. Our senior nutrition program continues to provide nutritious meals to our Milpitas seniors. We did have to switch to a takeout only service during the pandemic. We have recently moved to a dual distribution where we do both takeout and some limited indoor dining. As of last March, the beginning of the pandemic, we've handed out over 42,000 meals to seniors. So we're very proud of that number. And lastly, our recreation and community services classes, those are all in person, with some of our popular virtual classes and services and opportunities maintained. We found that some of our virtual opportunities have greater participation because people can come from the comfort of their own home, especially late evenings and our teen programs. Also wanted to mention to this group, our After the Bell program. We were very excited to start that back up at our Milpitas Unified School District sites the start of this school year. We are continuing a pod format at these sites, but also a bit of a hybrid approach, so kids have a sense of normalcy back in their school year. So the children are in pods, but then we do some limited large group activities. And we did this to help minimize any site closures after exposures to students who may have tested positive for COVID-19. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the school district for their slide.
Thank you very much. Our status update since the beginning of school is that our major ways that we are assuring that we are mitigating the spread of COVID as much as possible so that we can maintain in-person learning and learning continuity for all of our learners are, number one, we continue to promote the vaccine. And I understand that the vaccine will be out by November 1st for elementary students, according to a document just released yesterday by the California Public Health Department. The other big mitigation is masks. So as is dictated by law in the state of California, everybody wears a mask indoors. And in addition to that, at our elementary schools, everybody wears masks outdoors. And at secondary schools where students are older and better able to self-regulate, masks are suggested if they aren't maintaining a 3-foot social distance. And even with that, it seems to be a habit that students have readily adopted. And if you go on any of our campuses, you'll see just about everybody continuing to wear masks, even outdoors. The third prong to our prevention is testing. So the COVID-19 testing that we have done has not been without its challenges. For all those who are unvaccinated, both staff and students alike, we test once a week. The testing company that we've been using has not been able to keep up with the demand. And in addition, the amount of time that's put on our assistant principals, our secretaries, our health clerks, and also in some respects, our teaching staff has been quite inordinate and created a great amount of time that's been diverted away from what we would prefer to be spending our time with as far as instruction goes. But it's something that has to be done because safety is first, and we are a safety first district. By the middle of October, we will be switching from the current testing service to a new one, which I will share with the board and community on Tuesday. And that one will, we vetted with other school districts and seems to be much better equipped to meet our expectations. We also have continually, especially with the support of Scott Forstner, our board support and communication specialist, have been putting out a large amount of communication through all of our vehicles, such as Parent Square and all of our social media, updating the community of Milpitas Unified about different requirements from the California Public Health Department, and also suggestions, and also constantly making sure that people are aware of where they can get vaccinations. And as we did this summer, we plan also later in October to do another vaccination drive at one of our school sites. And we are in communication with the potential of doing vaccinations for our elementary students once that becomes available. And then thanks to both the federal as well as state governments, we are able to provide no cost lunch to any student who wishes to have lunch. That is has been very welcome and well received by many more students than we expected. And as we are experiencing in our daily lives with certain items not always being available, we also are feeling that impact in our student nutrition department with some items not being readily available for a few days to a week. However, we find other ways to meet the needs of our students for nutrition. And at Randall, we formed a partnership with Loaves and Fishes so that families at Randall who need something beyond the student lunch program can also pick up ready-made meals for the family on 2 days a week. And those are our COVID updates. Oh, one other thing I'd like to mention is that a part of the testing that is a result is that when we do have a case that we've identified, either self-reported or through the testing, that student and the student's close contacts are quarantined. And if the student is vaccinated, then they are on modified quarantine. And students, if we're able to identify the close contacts without having to identify the entire class, then they also are on modified quarantine, which means that those who are asymptomatic are tested twice within the first 5 days, and they're still allowed to come to school with masks on. In the event that an entire class has to be quarantined, our teachers will provide instruction virtually. And that's our update.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. Then we'll go back to the agenda here.
Renee, are you bringing that up?
Okay, fantastic. Next up, we'll go to traffic calming.
Hello, everyone. This is Steve Chan, City of Milpitas Transportation and Traffic Manager. Just a little update on a couple of capital improvement projects related to traffic calming that the city has just recently completed. Let me bring this up. Okay, there we go. So this is the enhanced crosswalk and warning beacon and radar speed feedback signage project report. Background, the city recently completed 2 CIP projects to improve crosswalk as well as enhancing traffic and pedestrian safety on various streets. They include these 2 projects, the enhanced crosswalk striping and warning beacons. The total project budget is approximately $500,000. Elements of the project include high visibility crosswalk pavement marking, as well as flashing beacon that pedestrian activates at the crosswalk. The second project is a radar speed feedback signage program or signage project. That project budget is about $400,000. They include installation of a digital radar sign display sign that show vehicle speed as they travel, as well as we also acquire 3 mobile trailer traffic calming trailer device to where we can deploy that anywhere in the city. The location where these devices are installed are shown in this map. The red indicate the radar speed feedback signs, and the blue dots are the enhanced crosswalk location. Primarily, these location of the enhanced crosswalk and radar speed feedback sign are near schools, park, and retail center where they have a high pedestrian activity. As you can see, the list of location, the schools includes Weller Elementary, Pomeroy Elementary, Burnett Elementary, Mary Hill Elementary, as well as Kirtner School. And here is what the new device look like. This is a picture of the flashing beacon. What we have traditionally used in the past has been the circular yellow or orange flashing beacon. Now we transition to what the state calls rapid flashing rectangular flasher. They are more noticeable to motorists. They are more similar to emergency vehicle flasher, so they draw motorist attention a lot better. And then here is our latest radar speed signage installation. In addition to the display of the vehicle speed, as you see lighted up here on the side, we also added flashing beacon that will be activated when a vehicle travels above the posted speed limit. So again, the intent is to draw motorists' attention to the sign that alert them if they are traveling over the speed limit to, return back to the normal posted speed limit. And that concludes that update on the traffic calming project that the city just recently completed. Any question from the group?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. If any panelists would like to provide any comment or have any questions, I'd like to ask for a virtual raised hand because I want to efficiently move through this meeting. So Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to inform or let the subcommittee know, not the collaborative school district subgroup know that the mayors and I serve on the transportation subcommittee for the city. And this is one of our goals, is to have the city install the flashing lights. And if you notice, most of them are near schools. So I want to give a big shout out to staff who was able to implement that. And thank you, Mayor, and myself for making sure that we're in good partnership with our schools. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks a lot, Vice Mayor. Yeah, it's a big deal. I think early in my time, we passed a traffic calming item, and we were able to fund this through a city budget under Julie Edmonds Mares. And so now we can see all the locations that are now improved. And I think this is the sort of partnership our city and our school district can continue going forward to make Milpitas a safer place for our pedestrians. And I really want to thank the engineering department for focusing on our school zones. That's always been a part of the discussion. So I think we'll see more. I think we'll see more down the road beyond the 20 that we have installed. Superintendent Jordan.
Thank you. It's come to my attention around the area of Spangler that there needs to be some signage for parents on where to park safely as they await students to come out of school. And Principal Jahar said that she has contacted the city. So I wondered if you've received any information from her about what the need is.
We did receive the email, and we are getting ready to get back to her with the student drop-off opportunity around the Spangler School, inform her what's the city's recommendation into improving that drop-off traffic around the school.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
I also spoke with Chief Hernandez just before the start of school and let him know that you, Dr. Chan, had shared with me that the bus stop just west past Escola Parkway on Jacqueline is actually another pickup and drop-off zone. And he said he would follow up with you about having more prominent signage put in there so that parents and caregivers see that it is another alternative to dropping students off and picking them up after school. I'm not sure what your plans are in that area.
I'll touch base with Chief Hernandez and get back to you on that item.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. This is what it's all about. Very satisfying part of public service here. Vice Mayor 110, I'm going to have to ask you to lower your virtual raised hand, and we'll go back to the agenda. We have no attendees at this time, no public comment. We're going to keep going. We'll go to the agenda here. Maybe I should pull up one of my emails. Might move a little faster a little bit here. But
Mayor, before we move off of
okay.
the item, one other thing, since I have Director Chan here and all of you, I have shared the need for relocating the crosswalk at Randall and needing the city's support in making it, locating it in a place that's safer where it currently is. And I'm talking about the new crosswalk just east of Etsy, I think it's called, and on Edsel. And the problem is for students who use that crosswalk, as drivers are exiting the driveway, if they're looking left, the crosswalk is immediately to the right. And while they're looking left, sometimes they may be moving towards the right and not realize that there's a child in the crosswalk. And so that's one reason why we would like to move it. The other reason is that it's out of the way and parents aren't necessarily choosing to use it, and instead are trying to use where the crosswalk used to be. And yes, we do have lots of communication that we've put out to all of our parents as well as the large signage letting people know that that's not a crosswalk. So as we move forward, we will definitely need to have city support in working with the state again on identifying a safer place to move the crosswalk.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have support, and we got to put our families and students first. So I think Mr. Chan I'm very certain he jotted that down. And I want to ensure we're doing all we can for our students and young people, our children. If there's anything just at any time going forward, please do not hesitate to reach out to our engineering department. Mr. Chan, our city manager, Ashwini, is here also to kind of go through that route as well. And as you know, the vice mayor and I are here to support the kids. Great.
Yep. Yeah, both city manager and assistant manager have been very helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, great. Moving on here to crossing guards update. This is a good one.
Renee, can you bring up, I think you have the PowerPoint, please.
Hey, Chief, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
Great, great. I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. As soon as the PowerPoint comes up here, then I will start presenting. Awesome, thank you. So good afternoon, subcommittee members. I'm Jared Hernandez, the acting chief of police from the police department. I'm happy to be here with you today to provide an overview and update to our crossing guard program. Next slide, please. I think it goes without saying that, the roles of our crossing guards is extremely important. They provide a layer of security for our students and their parents as they're walking to and from school during the beginning morning hours and also the afternoon hours. The crossing guards are the first people to enter the roadway to make sure that cars stop, and they're also the last people to leave the roadway to make sure that pedestrians and bicyclists make it across the street safely. Our crossing guards, they alert motorists using electronic whistles now. We got away from the blowing whistles due to COVID. So they use electronic whistles and stop signs to make sure that drivers are aware that they're there and that people will be crossing. And they also are important because our crossing guards are just an extra set of eyes for us out there on the streets. They alert us to dangerous driving patterns and also suspicious behavior. And as a result of our crossing guards being observant, there have been some incidents where the police department has been able to take some enforcement action because they're proactive in letting us know what's going on. Next slide, please. I think one of the questions that people sometimes ask is how do we know where crossing guards are and where should we be putting them? And it's really a collaboration between the traffic engineering department and the police department. And it's based on a variety of factors, including the flow and volume of pedestrian and vehicle traffic, gap assessments, that's the distance between cars as they travel down the roadway, what the road conditions are, what the sight distance is for vehicles, the presence and absence of other traffic control devices, such as stop signs or lighted intersections, the average vehicle speed for the roadway, the distance of the crosswalk walk to the school, and what the adjacent land uses are for that area, and then crash history. Next slide, please. Based on the assessment and the different school zones, there's been 31 posts identified as needing a crossing guard. Of those 31, we like to have, there's 5 that we like to have 2 guards at, and the reason being that the intersection is either large or there's a significant flow of pedestrian vehicle traffic in those particular areas. The posts are monitored by the crossing guard supervisor. Her name's Denny Orozco. She travels to the different sites just to make sure that everything is functioning well. And then she also makes staffing adjustments if that's necessary. The vacant posts are covered by supervisors or community service officers or police officers, depending on availability, if we have crossing guards calling in sick or there are otherwise uncovered spots. And on occasion, we may have to leave lightly traveled locations or other where there are traffic control measures in place vacant, depending on staffing needs in extreme circumstances and as a last resort. Next slide, please. For the crossing guard program, the total operating budget for both personnel and equipment and supplies is $512,149. $510,149 is personnel costs, while $2,000 is equipment and supply costs. If we were at full staffing, we would have 1 supervisor, 36 guards, and 2 alternates. Currently, we only have 1 supervisor and 31 guards. We do have 5 guard vacancies, and we are also, our alternates positions are also vacant. Several of our guards left during the pandemic. And then recently we had hired 5 new guards, and 2 of them have already resigned. So if you remember in a previous slide, I had talked about some of those intersections have 2 guards. Currently, those intersections have 1 guard, so we only have 1 guard at each post, and that's how we're managing. Next slide, please. Our recruitment efforts for crossing guards are ongoing. Since last school year, our recruitment efforts resulted in 18 applicants applying for the position of crossing guard. 5 of those 18 were hired for the position. We advertise our vacancies through the city website, the police department, and city social media accounts. And then also word of mouth seems to be very popular for us, either through police department employees and staff or crossing guards themselves getting their friends involved. Future recruitment efforts are going to include advertisements at our community events, such as Coffee with a Cop, with a Cop, and these different ventures that we do at the police department. Next slide, please. Our hiring process for guards is very basic. They fill out the application. We accept both hard copy and electronic applications. They will go through an interview process with our traffic safety unit sergeant. He's the supervisor, and then also our crossing guard supervisor. To be hired, you do have to pass a background check, and you also have to pass a very basic medical exam. Next slide, please. In summary, our crossing guards, they play an important role in the lives of our children who walk or bicycle to school. They ensure pedestrians and bicyclists safely cross the street at key locations, and their presence can lead to more parents feeling comfortable about their children walking or biking to school, and they also provide a feeling of security for children. So I'm available for any questions if you have any, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Chief Hernandez. I want to keep this meeting going efficiently. We do have a number of items. If there's a pressing virtual raised hand, look for it. I don't see any. There's no public here tonight, today. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
And we'll go to the agenda to the next item. And the next item is number 4, the city school transportation opportunity. Let's get into it.
And that item was the school district, I believe.
Fantastic. Perhaps we'll go to our superintendent, Cheryl Jordan.
Okay, our Milpitas Alliance Partners for Future Ready Learners. We do plan to do a career fair later in the year. And as a founding member, we would definitely like to invite the city to participate in putting that together with us. And as far as our Innovation Campus programming goes, right now we are still focusing on the capital campaign aspect of it. And the future of education in Milpitas, President Norwood, I think you wanted to say something regarding this.
Yes, there are 2 items. One on the item 4 about the city school transportation opportunity. Several months ago, one of the things that we had talked about at this meeting was the opportunity for transportation for students, possibly a partnership from where the city would be able to provide transportation for some of the students to get to school in the morning to help mitigate the traffic in the high traffic areas. So I just wanted to bring that back to our attention so that we can find time to add that to a future agenda with a bit more detail to determine what that would look like. And then also on item 7, the future of education in Milpitas, we're proud to announce that this year with the San Jose City College, we've launched the Milpitas Middle College High School. So now not only does the Milpitas Unified School District have the community college, but now there's a community college high school partnership where there are students that have an opportunity to enroll in college courses as a part of their high school experience. So we've added 1 more school to our district, and that is for our high school students where they're actually getting engaged in the college experience while they're actually in high school, so that they can be better prepared for internships, apprenticeships, and opportunities as they look to move to the next level of their academic or their life journey.
Thank you very much, President Norwood. No, that's great. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. For item number 4, yeah, absolutely, the transportation opportunity. Let's go ahead and move that forward as you requested to get agendized for further attention and possible action. All right, great. I think that'll square item discussion item number 4 away. If there are no further needs for item number 4, we'll go to item number 5, the MAP Career Fair.
Yep, so we will be planning a Milpitas Alliance Partners Career Fair for sometime in February, March, to prepare for summer, as well as an adult career fair. And so we plan to have invitation to our families, to the parents, as well as to our adult learners and some business partners. And again, as the founding member, the city is invited to work alongside us in developing that.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Is there any further comment for number 5?
I'll just go along to say that we'll also be working with, as it aligns with the City of Milpitas Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan. That'll be part of the conversation that we'll be having with the Office of Economic Development and Trade Commission, and in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, because there's a lot of conversation about job fairs, but basically we have the largest facility with the Milpitas High School gym, as well as some of the areas that it can be hosted in, and we can really create some good synergy. As Superintendent Jordan mentioned, we do have the parents, we have our adult learners, we have our students, and there's also city employment and district employment opportunities that we want to make the community aware of. And even to the point where it was just mentioned, the crossing guard opportunity, to make sure that we can get those positions filled, because they're very, very important.
Thank you very much, President Norwood. No, this is a tremendous, the career fair, tremendous. So looking forward to seeing that progress. Great. Okay. What's the next step for that? Do we need to, it's moving, the wheels are rolling? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great. Let's keep this meeting going if we may. Attendees, no comments. We'll go to number 6, Innovation Campus Programming. We'll go to our district, our school district.
So there's 2 aspects of programming. One is the buildings, and one is the learning that goes inside the buildings. And we're currently working on the buildings, and we have plans that are being developed and are almost completed. And we'll be able to share those first with the board, and then we can share it here in this forum as well when we get to that point. And then as far as programming for the interior, in the 2022-23 school year, that's when we'll start looking at hiring somebody who can work with our community of leaders in developing what the programming is going to be. We already know that we're looking at the areas that are going to prepare our learners for the future of work. And we know that here in Milpitas, we have the advantage of having advanced manufacturing right in our backyard. We also have other areas of construction. There are 2 construction companies in Milpitas. There are also opportunities for students to do city governance, as well as health and the health aspects of biotech. And so those are the areas that we're going to be looking at as we plan out the programming, and also building on the academies that we already have in existence at Milpitas High School.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Jordan, for that update. I can't say how excited I am to see all these programs move forward, and our students are pretty blessed to have our industry here in town, and and the great leaders on the school board and the district. Great. Seeing no comment, seeing no virtual raised hands, we're going to keep going here, folks. Number 7, the future of education in Milpitas.
Again, and I'll just reiterate the fact that we're moving forward with the middle college, high school. We see the synergy between the needs of the city, the businesses in the city, and making sure at the MUSD Innovation Campus within the programming there is alignment. Being the City Council approving our participation in the Economic Development Strategy Plan, we want to make sure that for many years to come, and one of our initiatives, I think you guys have heard, and we'll keep saying it over and over again, 12% of our residents prior to the pandemic worked in Milpitas, and our goal in partnership with the city is to help to move that to 25% or higher.
Thank you very much, President Norwood. The future's sounding very, very bright, brighter than ever. Thank you so much. Okay, if there's any virtual raised hands, any comments? If not, no attendees, no comments. Okay, great. We're going to keep going here to agenda item G, ongoing agenda items. I believe if Director Lorenzen, if you can scroll down, just want to make sure I don't see, okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I don't miss or overlook anything. Ongoing agenda items, and we have one, MUSD bond projects update. Back to you, Cheryl.
Yeah. So I have Travis Kirk here this evening to share with us an update on our bond projects. And also I'd like to thank all of our board members as well as city council members who came to the grand opening or the ribbon cutting of our Randall World Languages School. We're very proud of the work that's been completed there and look forward to adding our 3rd language in the next 2 years.
Thank you for inviting us. All right, we got a special guest here. Travis, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, doing great. It's a lovely Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
A bunch of us are headed over to Mountain View to catch our Milpitas Trojans in a bit. So
yeah,
you can help us be on our way, Travis, with a great presentation.
I'll do it like I'm an auctioneer here. It's good to see everyone. There's a lot of just incredible things going on within the school district as far as the Measure AA bond program is concerned. As you know, you saw the end result over at Randall. It just turned out amazing. The local contractor Excel did a fantastic job on that project. The Matos project is ongoing. It's still on schedule to finish in April of 2022. We did just complete the road widening as part of the school district's obligation to the city. The road widening near Carl's Jr., I believe, in talking with Block, there's 1 or 2 little punch list items there, and then we'll be all done there. Very much appreciate the city's efforts and coordination and just everything from the city's end to help facilitate that project. Some completed projects recently, roofing at Senate, Rancho Rose, just things we're doing every summer, taking the high priority roofing and paving and HVAC jobs and knocking those out. The Zanker Elementary School had a very large HVAC project that is just recently completed. We did a minor modernization at Spangler, which included a new grand entry, perimeter security, fencing and gates, 6 new portables, and then we'll be installing 2 shade structures, one very large shade structure, about 30 by 40, help accommodate outdoor learning in this new post-COVID environment where there's a need for that. So that's going in over there. So good stuff. As you're aware, big thanks to Renee on this. We've been working with her throughout this for the Russell and Rancho track, particularly the Russell track. Rancho track, the general contractor work is essentially done on that. The rubber surfacing is going on now. We will leave the temp fence in place while we're going through the maintenance periods for the grass to root in. I think I did receive a request the other day and I passed it on, maybe to slide that west side fence over so that folks could start using the new pathway that we put in, work with the city on putting that pathway or replacing the old dilapidated one. So I've got the people on that. Russell track is mass grading. They're just about to lay the base rock and get ready to pave that site. So it's very good. And somebody's calling me to cover up my notes. Milpitas High School, we have a solar project that's ongoing now. They've ordered steel for that. That solar is going to go over where the existing basketball courts are and eventually accommodate parking, because the new Performing Arts Center is going on the northeast corner where we're having to remove solar to accommodate that. The larger project for the Performing Arts Center, the second gym, and the fitness center is into DSA for approval. It's in DSA San Diego, which is, I'm thinking is good news for us for a variety of reasons, but it's down there, it's under review, and we're hoping to break ground on that project in the spring. The MUSD Innovation Center, hoping to go to DSA in the winter, probably in December, and hopefully get approval for those buildings in the spring as well and get going. Those are a PC pre-checked buildings, so the timeline at DSA is shorter. And I would say would identify the biggest obstacle to our construction program right now is the cost of steel, which is running about double what it was a year ago, I think. So that's cyclical, and we hope that that will go down. All indicators are by Q2 next year, price of steel will go back to a reasonable amount, which will be a great help to the project. And with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you very much, Travis.
And DSA is Department of Architecture.
Division of State Architect, yeah. And they review three things. They review structural safety, fire life safety, and access compliance.
Thank you, Travis. Mayor.
Thank you very much, President Norwood. Looking for any virtual raised hands. If I don't see any, then thank you very much. Okay, we got one here. Vice Mayor Montano.
Just a quick reminder, what grades will Mabel Mattis go up to?
8th grade.
And all, this will be the 8th, it'll be finished completely, or you still need, is there phases of certain grades?
So we will phase in the certain grades.
And so right now, so this, the work that they're doing now, what grades will be completed?
So at Matos, the work that they're doing now that has been completed and that we shared with the ribbon cutting was multi-use room as well as lockers, which are needed for our middle school. And then we redid the front so that there's a larger welcoming for parents and caregivers who come to the front office, as well as more of a centralized area for the office to be able to interact with what's happening out on the playground more easily, and more parking as well as a drop off, which is what the crosswalk is related to that I mentioned.
Okay, so right now it's K through 8 that it's been completed. The classrooms have been completed K through 8.
I think there's a disconnect in the conversation. Is she asking about Matos or Randall?
Matos.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Matos, we plan to have all of the buildings, and it only goes to 6th grade. It's not going to be a K-8. So it'll go only to 6th grade, and all of the classrooms should be open by next fall, Travis.
Yeah, well, all of the classrooms will be open by next fall. Yeah, so we should have total completion by April, and then just do punch list items, get furniture moved in, get everyone set up. So start of the 22-23 school year, we should be full speed ahead, turnkey.
And currently we've brought over 8 portables so that we could take a larger number of students in the Matos area. So the Matos school enrollment is about 426 right now.
Okay, great. And so you'll be transporting some kids from other areas, sectors of the city. I'm sure you're going to have probably have a lot of students in 2022. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I want to follow up on the city side, maybe Ashwini Kantak, our Assistant City Manager. How's the park doing over there next to Matos? How are our timelines with that city park next to the elementary?
Thank you, Mayor, for the question. We actually have Steve Erickson on, so I'll look to him to give us an update on the design.
Thank you so much. You know, I always kind of start at the chain of command, and it'll take you the right way. Okay.
Right, so that park, the McCandless Park is being done in phases. So the first phase is under construction. And that is the phase for the all-access playground. That's where we received a grant to complete that. So I believe that phase will be completed sometime next year toward the end of the year.
Okay, not too far off. That's great. Thank you.
And that is
Yes,
phase one, Mayor. So there
right.
is another phase with the fields, but we're not there yet on that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally understood. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashwini. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Just would love to just see the first phase will be great. You know, just really show progress. Okay, great. All right. If I don't see any further virtual raised hands, there's no one in attendance. Thank you, Travis, our superintendent, Cheryl Jordan. And by the way, Cheryl, your title here on the Zoom, I think you're missing a letter from your first name. I just want to point that out on the text. Yeah, hey, it's a school district. I gotta show what I learned here in Milpitas. You know, I gotta show my education. Yeah, and we were very careful to detail. Milpitas alumni. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Moving on to future agenda items. Does anybody have any future agenda items? I guess one I have is not really which I'm not sure what to think of it, but I know myself and President Norwood have been having a really fun time. I'll call it a fun time working together productively to work on some capital fundraising for the innovation campus. So I'll connect with the president to see how we can continue to move forward as we do have a partnership with our school district in our city. So just want to let folks know that there's passion behind it, motivation, determination. We're gonna do some great things here in the future. Here, we're all I know everybody here in this meeting is elected officials as well. It's dedicated long term to this community and seeing it right. So that's my little future agenda item sort of comment. We'll figure out how to get that structured and if we need to agendize it. But I did want to add that. I guess now's a good time toward the end. Anybody else virtual raise hands? It's 4:55. We're trying to get out of here by 5 o'clock, folks. Look, it's been a great meeting. It's an efficient meeting. We've crossed all the T's and dotted the I's, but we can be efficient at the same time. Nothing wrong with being efficient. So seeing no further virtual raised hands, I want to say, hey, great seeing everybody. It's a beautiful weekend. Lots going on out in our community. And enjoy yourself and your families. I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you.